everyone, so today I'm going to be doing my manga haul for the past few months. I have once again accumulated more manga than I thought I have, so I have quite a few things to show you. As per usual, I'm going to be starting with the new stuff that I've received, and then later on we'll talk about all the pre-orders, the series I've been collecting for a very long time. This time I have some special stuff. I have some art books, as well as a very cool, I guess you would call it merchandise piece, but we'll talk about that later. And we'll start off with something that many people are very happy to pick up, and that is Red River, the omnibus version. This is volumes 1 through 3, of course. This is the re-release of the very highly asked for Red River, the reprint. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. I have not read Red River, but this is one I am actually interested in, not just because it's very hyped, but I think it could be an interesting read for me in terms of the fantasy and stuff like that. I know this cover is very highly talked about, whether people really like it or really don't. I kind of like it. To me, it looks like those old like Harlequin romance novels, which might not be the direction the series will take, but I do like this cover and the font a lot. But also, I don't know a single thing about graphic design, so maybe I don't have the credibility to talk about whether this cover is good or not, but I think it is, so that's all that matters. Here's the spine if you wanted to know what that looks like. I'm perfectly happy with that as well. Next, I have something that I heard about on Instagram for the first time. This is a new horror manga. Again, I had not heard of this. It's from a publisher that I've never bought from before. I didn't even know they did manga. Actually, I looked them up and they mostly do comics, like American comics. And I can kind of tell. But so this is Monkey Peak. I got volume 1 and volume 2. This was not available at any of the normal manga retailers that I usually go to, like Barnes & Noble or Merry Manga Co. It definitely wasn't on there. It wasn't on Crunchyroll. It wasn't on Amazon either. So I ended up getting it from Midtown Comics. They are a comic retailer. So they're based in New York City, but they also sell stuff from their website. They ship it throughout the country. So I think when I saw this finally, because I searched for it for a long time, I was kind of like not paying attention, and I was just so excited that I found it that I just immediately bought it. However, I do not encourage you to go buy this because these volumes retail for $25 a piece, okay? That is absolutely ridiculous. I did not pay $25 a piece, but I did not get the best deal on it, I will say that. And these volumes are like the size of a regular little 7Cs volume. They're also like, it's not like they have better paper quality. In fact, I would say they are worse printing quality than most manga. And I did notice some typos, not a lot, but if you're charging $25 for these tiny volumes, then there should be absolutely no typos in your manga. So it's kind of upsetting to me that this is so expensive because I did really enjoy these 2 volumes. This manga is about this group of pharmaceutical employees who decide to go on this hiking trip as kind of a team building exercise. Their company is kind of struggling, and so they're going on this hiking trip. It's just supposed to be overnight, I believe. And then there's this monkey, this giant monkey, that starts killing them. And it's just basically slasher stuff. There's some like tension in the group, as you might expect. And I really enjoyed it, but I cannot justify spending $25 on each of these volumes, even if I got that at like 30% off. I can't justify that. This series is going to be 12 volumes long, I believe. And yeah, so even though I enjoyed it, I won't be picking any more of this up. And I actually encourage you not to do that. Obviously, everyone can do whatever they want with their own money, but I do think $25 for one of these volumes is ridiculous. And I've talked about this before. I'm very happy to support indie publishers. Often they have their manga at a little bit of a higher rate, but I don't mind that. Like, for example, Starfruit Books, they do a bigger trim size than this, but I think their volumes are like $18. But those have French flaps and stuff, and also like Living the Line. I think they charge $20 for theirs, but they have really cool essays in the back about the history of horror manga, stuff like that. This has nothing added. The paper quality is not that good. And those ones are also most of the time just one shot, so it's not like you're spending tons and tons of money on these series. So yeah, even though I enjoyed this, I will not be buying any more, unfortunately. I would love to actually collect the series, but I will not be doing so for such a ridiculous price. The next thing I bought, I've already talked about. This is Trillion Game Volume 1. I shared my thoughts on this in my last video, I think, or one of my recent videos. And at the time I said that I thought it was okay. Actually, I didn't really like this volume, but I was going to give it another volume or two to decide. I decided I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to drop this series at Volume 1. I just don't really want to be spending the money on this either, especially when I had a feeling I just don't think I'm going to enjoy the series. I know people like it, but I'm trying really hard to limit the series I'm collecting, and when I didn't really like this volume at all, there's no reason I should be buying anymore, even to give it a second chance. Alright, now we have some stuff that I haven't read. I have the Spellbook Library Volume 1. This is by the same author as Is Love the Answer, but I'm pretty sure this is completely different from that one. That one is like an LGBT manga, and this one, to me, seems to be like a fantasy manga, but I did really enjoy Is Love the Answer, so this is one I'm definitely going to be trying out pretty soon, and I'll let you know my thoughts on this one. Another new one I got, this is a webtoon, I think, yes. So this is called Beetle Hands, Volume 1. I don't know how long this will be. I'm pretty sure it's complete though, so I can look it up. But this one, I don't know a single thing about. I don't really read webtoons, but it was a new horror series coming out, so I decided I'll give it a try because I love horror, obviously. I thought I was going to read this month in October, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get to it. But I read horror all year round, so it won't be very long before I'm sharing my thoughts on this one as well. Next, I have a whole bunch of Osama Tesa stuff. I'm not sure how this happened, but just happened. So firstly is Tomorrow the Birds by Osama Tesa. This is published by Ablaze Manga. This is one, I don't really know what it's about. I don't look up things before I buy them. I just saw Osama Tesa. I liked this cover, and I don't know, maybe, I think it's about intelligent birds or something like that. I don't know. I'm going to read it. These ones I thought were out of print, but I guess they're not. So firstly, I have Brave Dan. I don't know anything about this one either. I do like this cover though. These ones are published by Digital Manga Publishing, I think. So to get these, I went on Amazon, and they have like their own selling thing on there where they sell these manga, so that's what I did. So I got this one as well as Alabaster, so I got Volume 1 and Volume 2 of this, and that should be complete, I believe. I have really enjoyed pretty much all the Osama Tesa works I've read, so I just decided, I saw these on Amazon one day and decided to collect them because I'm going to read them eventually. Now, before we get to all the series I've been collecting for a while, I want to talk about some things that are not actually manga, but they are manga related. Firstly, we have Uncanny by Junji Ito with one of the most uninspired covers ever. Of course, they hid the really cool cover underneath the dust jacket. There you go. Now you hopefully will not have nightmares, but you know. So this is one I've started reading. It's basically a bunch of Junji Ito talking about his inspirations for his manga. I'm not very far into it yet, but I am enjoying it. So far he's talked about his childhood and the series he watched on TV that inspired his taste for horror and the macabre. So I'm looking forward to reading more of this. I'm not sure I'm going to finish this in October. I was hoping to, but there's a bunch of other stuff I want to complete first, so we'll see. Next we have one that's definitely just a novel, but it is a novel that was adapted into an anime a couple years ago, and I really enjoyed that anime, so I thought I would show you the novel. This is called Run with the Wind by Shion Miura. So yeah, this was an anime a couple years ago. I want to say in 2018, but that might be a lie. But I really enjoyed that anime. It's a sports anime about a bunch of college students who decide to run this famous marathon that I can't remember the name of at the moment. It's been a while since I watched it, but that anime, like many sports anime, has such heart, and you just love all the characters. So I wanted to visit the novel and see what changes there are, if any, and yeah. Next I have an art book, and I have two art books in this haul. First one is Yokai by Shigeru Mizuki. So this, if you couldn't tell, is a bunch of different illustrations of yokai done by Shigeru Mizuki. There's a cool centipede thing. So it also has just a little very short story about each of these yokai. Here's a little bit more to look at. Here we go. So I've read a couple of Shigeru Mizuki works at this point. I just finished Kitaro after putting it on hold for an entire year, but I did really enjoy reading this at the same time as that because some of the yokai used in Kitaro are talked about in here. So yeah, this is a really cool art book if you like Shigeru Mizuki, if you like to learn about Japanese yokai. This one I'm currently reading. The bookmark fell out when I was showing the pictures, but I am currently reading this, and this one I should be finishing in October for sure. Another art book I'm not even sure is going to fit in the frame, but this is called Pseudomorph of Love. This is the art book for Land of the Lustrous. So yeah, I really enjoy Land of the Lustrous. I really love the art in that manga. It's very unique, and there aren't too many like color pages in there. Obviously the covers are beautiful, but in order to actually see the color pages, I wanted to pick up this because the art is super cool. Hopefully I don't see any spoilers because that'd be bad. Here's some of the art in here. Some of the characters. And yeah, I really enjoy Land of the Lustrous. It does a really interesting thing with time, and that's all I'll say about that. But I'm really happy to have this art book. I might do like a little short video looking through this real quick, but we'll see. All right, now we have some series that I've completed this month or in the past 2 months or so. Firstly, we have Tokyo These Days. This is the final volume 3 by Tao Matsumoto. I read the first volume, really enjoyed it, and now I meant to finish this like in September, but I didn't get around to it, so I should be finishing this before the end of the year for sure. Then we have the series I'm currently reading. This is Parasite, the final volume 8. This one I will definitely be finishing before the end of October, and I'm planning on talking about all the manga I read in October in its own video, but I'm enjoying Parasite right now. Next we have one, I can't believe I haven't mentioned this in a haul video. I have shared my thoughts on this volume and my thoughts on this entire series, but I guess I forgot to show this off in my last haul. But I have Blood on the Tracks, volume 17, of course. Again, I've already talked about this many times, but I love the series, and I want to share something else that I got that's kind of related to this. So as you might know, this month Kodansha was doing this Kodansha House event in New York City, and there were some mangakas that went there and did like a Q&A and a signing session, and they're really cool creators like Makoto Yukimura, who did Vinland Saga, and Kamame Shirahama, who does Witch Hat Atelier, and also, surprisingly to me, Shuzo Oshimi was there. And someone I know, a fellow manga tuber, Anthony, also known as Asian Mur here on YouTube, went to that event and went to the Shuzo Oshimi event. And he doesn't really care for Shuzo Oshimi, but he got this. Everyone got it for going there. And so he sent it to me because I love Shuzo Oshimi. And it's even personalized to me, which I had no idea it was going to be personalized to me. But that's pretty crazy. So this is an image from Flowers of Evil, if you couldn't tell. And I'm still kind of in shock because obviously, well, not obviously, I don't live in New York City, so there was no chance of me going to that event. But Anthony very nicely offered to send me this, and I'm so thankful. This is so cool. One of the coolest things I have in my collection, maybe even the coolest thing I have in my collection. And yeah, so definitely go check out Anthony or Asian Mur. I'll leave his link down below because I cannot thank him enough for this. It is unbelievably cool, and I'm so happy to have it as a fan of Shuzo Oshimi. And yeah, I don't even know what else to say because this is amazing. All right, so I don't even know how to continue talking about things after that. But now I have a bunch of stuff that I've been collecting, and you know, it's stuff I've talked about before, so we'll just go through them all pretty quickly. Firstly, we have My Name is Shingo, Volume 3. This is one I should be reading this month, maybe directly after I finish Parasite, but this manga is my manga. This manga feels like it was made 100% with me in mind. It is entirely to my taste, and I love it so much, and I can't wait to read this volume. It will be very soon. Next, we have one that I was not expecting to get, but I saw a couple people hauling it. It's been out of print or out of stock, whatever, for a while. So this is Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt Volume 4. I have volumes 1 through 3. I wasn't going to collect any more of it. One, because I read the first volume and I didn't love it, but also because volume 4 was impossible to find, so I didn't want to collect the rest and then never have volume 4, because I don't think you can read this digitally. I don't think it's available on like Kindle or anything like that. I could be wrong about that. But anyway, they did finally reprint this, so I went ahead and bought it, and now I will read through this volume, and hopefully I will enjoy it, and then I will keep collecting it. I've heard fantastic things about the later parts of this series, and I'm excited to get there, hopefully. Next, we have another favorite of mine that I will definitely be reading once I finish Parasite. This is Night of the Living Cat, Volume 5. Listen, it's the same joke every time, okay? It's like a zombie apocalypse, except for instead of zombies, you turn into a cat if you touch a cat. And the entire joke is just like, do we even want to live in a world where we can't touch cats, where we can't express our love for cats? And it's just very silly, okay? It's incredibly silly, and I love it so much. So I can't wait to read this volume either. Next, we have a series that we haven't seen a new volume of in a while. This is World End Solte. This is by the author of Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer and Spirit Circle. And I read the first volume of this, and I did enjoy it. This author does some pretty interesting things with like alternate dimensions and time and reincarnation and stuff like that. And most of his series, or at least the 2 series that I've read of his, have to do with that. And this one does kind of as well. So that's what I like about his series. So I'm going to be reading this volume. I don't know when it will happen. The series releases very slowly, so I'm in no rush. Next, we have another robot manga. This is Adam the Beginning, Volume 9. This series I feel like was releasing pretty quickly, but now it's slowed down. But this is kind of the origin story of Astro Boy. And I haven't read Astro Boy. I will. I do plan on reading Astro Boy at some point. I can get it from my library and read the entire thing through there. So I will be doing it at some point. I just haven't yet, but I am enjoying this one because it's about robots. So yeah. Next, we have another one that hasn't seen a new volume in a while. This is Kaguya Shojo, Volume 11. So I think I've read through Volume 8 or 9, I'm not sure, but I did enjoy this series. It's about acting, but I'm happy to collect these volumes as they come out, and they'll just sit on my shelf until the series is completed or I decide to revisit it in the future. We'll see. Next up is Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, Volume 20. I feel like these are all series that have taken a long time to release new volumes, but I really enjoyed what I read of this series. I think I read through Volume 15 or 16, I want to say, but great series, fantastic art, and I love the characters and their relationship dynamics and stuff like that. So next we have the penultimate volume of Usatoki Rhetoric. This is a shoujo mystery manga. I have not read a single volume of this, but again, since the next volume is the final volume, I will read this entire manga. Then I want to say volume 10 comes out in February, but One Piece Books usually gets their books out pretty early, so it might be faster than that, but this one is one I will read next year for sure. Next we have Akane Banashi, Volume 8. I think I'm going to be reading the series before the end of the year, maybe. My next video will be my reading plans for the rest of the year, and so we'll see if this appears on there. I think it will. We'll see. But yeah, I really love these covers, and I have read through Volume 5 of the series, and I definitely enjoyed it. Next we have God Bless the Mistaken, Volume 3. I was pretty interested by the direction this was taking by the end of Volume 2, so hopefully Volume 3 continues down that path, and I enjoy this one as well. This one will be 4 volumes in total. Then we have Witch Hat Atelier Kitchen, Volume 5. I have nothing to say about this that I haven't already said before, but I really enjoyed this series, and this like slice of life version of the original series. It's a nice change of pace. Next I have Blue Period of Volume 15, another series I haven't read in a while, but also we haven't had a new volume in a while, so it's okay. Next we have Sketchy Volume 4 with this obnoxiously yellow cover. I've only read the first volume of this, but I enjoyed it. It's a skateboarding coming of age manga about this group of women who are unhappy with their lives, and then through skateboarding they like become friends. Again, I've only read the first volume, so that's what it was at that point. This will be a 6-volume series once it's completed. Also, I just had to check on the back. They're still calling this a josei manga, even though it was published in a seinen magazine, so that's still happening. Next we have Steel of the Celestial Shadows, Volume 4. I'm really hoping this story continues down the path they went in Volume 3, because before that I was on the fence about this series, and if it doesn't continue like the dark route it was taking, then I'm probably going to drop it. but I know lots of people really enjoy this series. Next we have Fool Knight Volume 2. So I loved the first volume of this, and I cannot wait to read more. However, I will be waiting until they fill in those back chapters of the manga on the Viz app. They're missing like 30 chapters, I want to say. So once they do that, I'm going to go ahead and just read the entire thing. All the volumes I have physically, and then whatever is left I will read on the Viz app, because I don't want to wait for something like this. It's so cool, and I just can't wait to read more, but I will, because I don't like reading things with months in between each volume. I don't like doing that. So once they put it on the app, that is when I will go back to reading it. Next we have Auto Volume 4. Really enjoying this series, but I'm going to be waiting until a couple more volumes of this are out, or even until the series is completed to read any more of it, but I'm definitely loving it. Next we have Medalist Volume 4. I really have nothing to say about this except for I'm enjoying it, so I bought the next volume. And getting close to the end here, we have Yowamushi Pedal Volume 26. I'm about 2 of these omnibuses behind reading, but obviously I've loved what I've read of this series. It's very ridiculous, but it's a really fun sports manga. And last, but certainly not least, we have Dracula, or DRCL Midnight Children, whatever you want to call it. I call it Fun Vampire Times because that's what it is. I read this volume this month pretty much immediately after I got it. And of course, I love this volume just as much as the others. This manga is a little silly. Of course, it has this amazing, like, ethereal art, but it is a little silly. The characters are just very exaggerated, and obviously it's based on Dracula, which I love. It is quite different from Dracula, and I'm not mad at it. In fact, I'm really loving it. So yeah, those were all the manga I've picked up in the last few months. If you've read any of these and you'd like to share your thoughts, please leave those comments down below, or let me know what your favorite thing that you've picked up in the last few months is. But that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!